And then there were 4. It's conference finals time, and the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Heat and the Celtics all remain. Hello and welcome to Fox Sports Lab NBA. I'm Jack Heron. Alongside me is our resident NBA guru, Jaymz Clements. James, we're at the pointy end of the season now.
Yeah, this is great, Jack. I'm stoked to be here as well. I'm just, I'm like James Harden. I just want to be where I can be me. Simple as that.
Also joining us, our two-time NBA All-Star, Carlos Boozer. Carlos, these playoffs have been superb so far. Welcome.
Oh, so much fun to watch. I'm glad we're here to witness it. So many games coming down to the wire. What a great time of the year, guys.
Coming up, we analyse the Celtics' playoff brain fades, we talk the Nuggets and the Lakers, and we discuss whether the Heat can match it with Boston. Well, James, first and foremost, I think it's fair to say it's a good time to be a San Antonio fan.
I mean, anytime you can get a generational talent for the third time, Jack, the third time they have generational centres. How good is that for the Spurs? They win the draft lottery. They're going to be stoked. What a week.
Yeah, it's great for the Spurs. I think they need some good news. Let's talk about good news. Let's talk about great performances and recognise Jayson Tatum. That Game 7 performance, a record-breaking night for him, was incredible.
It really was. 51 points. He goes and breaks the record that Steph set, 2 weeks ago against Sacramento in a Game 7. But for me, I think, as we go into these conference finals now, that was the exact moment that Tatum just had to have. He'd been so sort of up and down during that series. He steps up when the chips are down. He delivered. It was amazing to see.
Carlos, players make their name and carve out their reputation in big games, don't they? This was a huge one for Jayson.
Oh, a huge moment, for the Celtics, but also for Jayson Tatum. He was struggling, like James said, through the playoffs, up and down, struggling in the first half. Game 7, everything on the line, season on the line. And he delivers a 51-point game. I think also with 13 rebounds, did everything he needed his team to do to win. Also played great defense. That team definitely got galvanized around him in that game. Looking forward to seeing how it translates to the next series.
So what about the Celtics then? That don't make it easy for their fans, no doubt about that. How do you explain their lapses in concentration and their up and down form that we've seen during the playoffs?
Yeah, it's kind of been that way for them. They had an incredible season towards most of it, but towards the tail end of the season, they were kind of inconsistent with their wins. They struggled a little bit in the first round, struggled a little bit in the second round. But you saw them when they needed their defense to show up, it showed up. You saw James Harden and Joel Embiid struggle in Game 7, ultimately, leading to Doc Rivers getting fired the other day or let go. But great job by the Celtics. They have it when they need it, and they're going to need it against the Miami Heat.
So, Carlos, we've actually just seen this, right? The Celtics are massive favourites against the Heat. We've seen Game 1 of Nuggets-Lakers. If the Celtics do get past Miami, who do you think they'd actually prefer to play in the finals?
I think Denver is a juggernaut offensively. The way Jokic is scoring, last night he was like a video game. 30-plus points, 20-plus rebounds, 13, 14-plus assists. That's just ridiculous, first of all. But their team is playing so well offensively. I think Boston would rather see the Lakers. I just think they match up a little better with them. They have the size inside with obviously Robert Williams III, Al Horford. They got the wings that can match up with LeBron, Jaylen Brown, and Jayson Tatum can switch and take turns on LeBron. They got guard play. Marcus Smart was Defensive Player of the Year just a year ago. They got Malcolm Brogdon off the bench, which I think is just a cheat code for their team. Makes their team so deep. So I think the Celtics would rather, if they get past the Miami Heat, they'd rather see the Lakers.
James, this postseason has been a reminder of how brutal the coaching side of the NBA is. No change at Boston. I guess they can thank Jayson Tatum for that. But the Suns, the Bucks, and now the 76ers with Doc Rivers have made changes. What happens next for Philly?
Well, this is crazy, right? You've got the 3 best teams with the 3 best records over the past 3 years, right? That have all fired their coach. But I think for the Sixers, what does this mean? I think you've got to go back to the drawing board. And to be honest, there are very few exceptions where going back to your ex, I think, works. And that's what Daryl Morey's done. Yeah. He's gone to James Harden. They've talked about Mike D'Antoni. I say no! Don't do it, Philly! Stick away from the ex. Go find something new. Maybe talk to Nick Nurse. Just something like that. Maybe even move on from Harden and just give the keys to Tyrese Maxey and away we go.
Oh, just like that?
Just off we go.
Just like that. Hey, Carlos, while we're on the subject of the 76ers, what did you make of Joel Embiid's comments after the Celtics loss? He basically said, me and James, we can't win it alone.
Yeah, I think he's asking for help. I think, first of all, I didn't think they both played their best game in Game 7. I thought they both struggled in Game 7. But that being said, Joel was pretty outstanding throughout the most of the series. I feel like that's your star asking for help, whether that's in the form of a Dame Lillard or maybe a Zach LaVine out of Chicago. But he wants them to make a trade for an impact player that can also create their own shot, make the offense a little easier. Even though I really do love their team, I think Tobias Harris was like an unsung hero, very consistent throughout the playoffs. Tyrese Maxey really showed up and showed out all playoffs long. And I'm not quite sure, James, that James Harden wants to stay in Philly. I keep hearing rumors about him wanting to go play in Phoenix with KD, hearing rumors about him wanting to go back to Houston. So watch out for him to opt out of his contract and possibly be on the move this summer.
Oh, my goodness me. There is a lot to unpack. Some big names and some big games as well.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Chances are you're about to lose.
The Nuggets have landed the first blow against the Lakers. Carlos, is it too early to make a call on this series yet?
I think so. I mean, the Lakers have been so good. They bounce back so well. They still have LeBron James playing at a really high level. He's one of the few guys that we know, as well as he's playing, can take it even up another notch. And then Anthony Davis was terrific in game one. I mean, we're talking about the Joker because obviously his numbers were ridiculous, but AD also had a 40-point game, which is outstanding. I think that's his season high for this year's playoffs. Played terrific. Guys really stepped up. Hachimura was huge off the bench. Don't be surprised if you see a lineup change. I feel like Hachimura on the Joker, guarding him one-on-one, allowing AD to kind of roam and be in that back line to be like a free safety defensively and block shots and help side defense, really worked against Denver in that fourth quarter. Don't be surprised if you see Hachimura in the starting lineup. And then Reeves was terrific again, knocking down big shot after big shot. So I think the Lakers have a shot. It's too early. It's only 1-0. Another game coming up. Now, if they go down 2-0 in Denver, because Denver is 41-7 on the season. They really win. They take care of home court very well. Don't be surprised if the pressure goes through the roof if they go back to LA for game 3 down 0-2. But even in that scenario, they could still take care of home court and tie the series up at 2-2, meaning game 5 would be monumental. If the Lakers want to advance to the finals, at some point, they got to win a game in Denver. It could be game 2.
James, what do you think?
I think the chess match we've already seen is fascinating. As Carlos mentioned, right, we've already got Rui moving on to Joker. You've seen AD go to Aaron Air Gordon and sort of just really stymie that offense. It came to a dead halt in that fourth quarter. It was incredible to watch. But really, this is just simply like the offense of Denver, which is the top-rated offense in these playoffs so far, versus the Lakers, which is the best defense. Like, that's such a great setup for the rest of this series. I'm loving it. You've got AD versus Joker as well. You've got Joker throwing up a 34, 21, and 14. That was patently ridiculous. It was incredible. That first quarter, that first half, you're like, what is happening? This is history. It's all happening right now. And then on the flip side, you got 40 and 10 from AD, but really it's all about who has the biggest impact game to game. And I was really impressed by the Nuggets having Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray. He stepped up big time. He's dealing with like an ear infection, and he still had 31, was hitting massive shots. The thing is, they need to figure out their defense, Denver, because we saw like LeBron being switched on to Jamal Murray. Like, you can't live with that. That's just going to be like a weird sort of functional thing that they're going to have to figure out. I still think this goes 6 or 7 very easily, but Carlos is right. Like, if LA can't steal one of these first 2 games, I'd be really worried about winning the actual series if I'm the Lakers, because Denver just have so much upside offensively. And I mean, the weird thing is Denver still feel a touch thin, so the Lakers do have a chance, I think, in game 2.
Well, hopefully it does go 7. We're going to watch on with great interest to see whether the Lakers can square the series. Well, we're back to the future with the Celtics and the Heat. It's the 3rd time in 4 seasons that these teams are going to meet in the conference finals. James, where does this series go?
The series goes directly to the finals, Jack. That's how it works. But fascinatingly, I absolutely love this because Boston and Miami, they're 2 very different teams, as we've seen. Last year's Eastern Conference Finals, Miami pushed them right to the brink. If that Jimmy Butler 3 goes in, who knows what happens. But really, how does this go? It goes as Miami's 3-point shooting goes. We saw it against Milwaukee. They were hitting everything. Milwaukee's amazing defense couldn't do anything about it. And we saw them get into a rock fight with the Knicks in round 2. They win that no hassles again. But really, you have that 3-point shooting, and then you have the battle of the superstars, don't you? You've got Jimmy Butler, you've got Jason Tatum. Whoever has the bigger dog in them in this series, I think that's the team that's going to win. But really, it should be Boston. They should have no problems. They should have no problems. This is the second-rated offense, I think, versus basically the 25th out of this season. And the second-rated defense. So they should be able to stymie that Miami perimeter. They've got size everywhere. You've got Malcolm Brogdon, Marcus Smart. You've got Derek White out there as their guards. They should be able to really just give Miami the clamps.
Carlos, quickly, how do you think this series is going to play out?
Yeah, I got Boston in 6. I agree with James. I just feel like the Boston Celtics are so complete. They have a deep bench. They got size at every position. They got defenders at every position. They got two-way players. And they really have two superstars. I mean, Miami has one in Jimmy Butler. They can put Jason Tatum on him. They can mix it up and put Jaylen Brown on him. But on the offensive side, they can just tag team, and whoever wants to go, Jaylen Brown can go first, Jason Tatum go first. Miami doesn't have that second guy that can really create his own shot and create shots for other people. Tyler Hero was that guy, but he's out with a broken hand. So I feel like I feel like Jimmy Butler can will Miami to at least one or at least maybe 2 wins in this series. But I think Boston wins in 6.
These teams are one apiece in the recent playoff series, so let's see who can forge ahead. And that is our show for this week. Carlos, as always, it's great to have you with us. We'll see you again soon. Thanks as always to you, Jaymz Clements. And of course, remember to subscribe below and follow us on socials. We'll see you next week on Fox Sports Lab NBA.